Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am your host, Dallas Reppin 52 of the Baltimore Ravens.
As always, I'm Brendan, repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. Obviously, week 4 of the NFL has kicked off. I know both Brendan and I watched some college football. We're also going to talk a little WNBA as they are in the midst of their playoffs. So just a great fun episode. Hang out with us. And yeah, let's get started. So I do think we are going to start with the WNBA as there are no basketball or hockey news. Those two sports are in their preseason, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will add them to our rotation.
I think hockey starts in a week. I think that's opening day, and then basketball is like 2 weeks after that. So
Nice.
we're
So yeah, we
getting
will
there.
have all of that coming at you soon. Alrighty, WNBA is in the midst of its semifinals. The Mercury did take down the Lynx in a 3-1 series. This one took me by surprise a little bit. It was a close series for the entirety of it. I do think Game 3 was kind of the bigger story of the playoffs. Neficia Collier went down with an injury to make a layup, and that prompted head coach Reeves to really lose their mind. If you saw, she had to be held back by members of the Phoenix's coaching staff when she attempted to charge the field and get in the ref's face. She was thrown out of the game, even though the game was over, and she was suspended for a game following post-game conference comments. Here's the thing, right? She's not wrong. The officiating in women's basketball this year has been tragically terrible. There's been a clear lack of understanding on how to referee a women's sport and women's basketball. And that's been clear all year, and we've talked about that. That was made worse in the playoffs. We talked about last year in the NBA, it was getting more physical. They were allowing a little bit more contact. They were allowing the game to simply be played. That was taken to an extreme level this year in women's basketball. And when the officiating crews have already struggled to maintain control of a game, I don't think this was the moment to maybe allow them to play through some of that or to allow a little bit extra of physicality. The Aces coach has also complained during these playoffs. I think it's valid. I think they're 100% right. No coach, no franchise, no player, no sport has ever been improved by its members of the team or the staff flying off the handle. That has never helped the situation. That has never improved the situation. You just come off crazy. That's really what happens. So I think she's right, and I think it was an unfortunate set of circumstances, and I do implore the WNBA to adjust its officiating criteria and its rules and its guidelines. This was not the way to go about it. Screaming at the refs, screaming at the fans, telling fans of another team, fuck off, is not going to get you what you want. It does not yield the results you're looking for. So, not wrong, but not right either. The Aces Fever series is tied right now at 2-2. It's a little closer than I thought it was going to be. None of these playoffs seem to be working or going the way I thought it did. I've just been wrong about like all of the sports right now. And that's okay. And we're going to talk about more about how I'm wrong throughout the episode. It's going to be a common theme you're going to see. But it has been a good series. They are currently tied 2-2. I believe they play game 5 tonight to see who goes into the finals to play the Phoenix Mercury. So, should be a good game. It's been a great series. It's been a great playoffs. It's just been overshadowed a little bit by some of the criticism that the players and the coaches have. And they're fair criticisms. They absolutely are. But all leagues have meetings. All leagues give time to discuss these things. This is not the moment. And this is not the way. So, that does it for WNBA news. We're going to kick it into baseball for a moment. I believe we have some baseball news, Brendan.
We do. So, we haven't talked about baseball in a while.
We have not.
It's been a little bit. The regular season is officially over. So we are moving into playoffs. So I got the bracket. We're going to go through just kind of what we got. I'll talk a little bit about the Mariners, and then we're good.
Awesome.
So, baseball, it's kind of similar to the NBA, just with 2 byes instead of 1. So on the American League side, we have the Toronto Blue Jays is the 1 seed, so they get a bye, and then the Seattle Mariners are the 2 seed, so they get a bye. So the 2 byes were the Blue Jays and the Mariners. The Mariners kind of stole it at the end. Kind of went on a huge run. I think they were like 10-2 in their last like 12 games of the season. So they kind of just stole it at the end. And then for the rest of the American League bracket is the Cleveland Guardians is the 3 seed. They're going up against the 6 seed Detroit Tigers. And then the 4 seed New York Yankees are taking on the 5th seed Boston Red Sox in the wild card. The winner of Boston, New York is going to face Toronto, and then the winner of Cleveland, Detroit will face Seattle. So that's all good. In terms of matchups, I'm really looking forward to watching the Yankees-Boston, just because that is a huge rivalry. They always kind of play each other tough. I would not be surprised if there's a bench clearing brawl at some point this playoffs with them. They hate each other. It's just kind of a fact. So that's kind of exciting to see. Hopefully that series is interesting. The other one, I don't really care. So yeah. And since the Mariners have a bye, probably going to be focusing mostly on the Boston Yankee series. On the other side of the bracket, in the National League, the 1 seed is the Milwaukee Brewers. They pretty much were the 1 seed the whole year. They were kind of the best team in baseball for most of the year, so no real surprise there. 2nd seed is the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, they kind of were there the whole season. No one really challenged them. The 3rd seed, playing the 6th seed, is the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds. Dodgers are the 3rd seed. The Cincinnati Reds are the 6th seed. No real surprises there. Probably going to take the Dodgers in that series, just because it's the Dodgers. And then the other one is the 4 seed Chicago Cubs against the 5th seed San Diego Padres. That might be a pretty good series. I'm not really sure who would come up on top on that one. If I had to make a prediction, I would go San Diego in that one. And then on the other side, I didn't get predictions. I'm going to take Boston and Cleveland. Just because I forgot to give predictions on that side. The playoffs are looking pretty interesting. Some interesting matchups. The wild card is a best of 3, so it's kind of similar to WNBA for their first round. So we'll get into like the meat of the playoffs here pretty quickly. So it'll be kind of exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Especially because I actually get to watch the Mariners and watch a playoff team instead of the second worst team in baseball history, Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
They at least did not. They're at least not the worst team in MLB history. So that's something.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It was last year. The Chicago White Sox were worse, which is surprising. In terms of actual Mariners news, there was a couple things we missed. Cal Raleigh, the catcher for the Seattle Mariners, set multiple records. They are kind of records that have specifications to it. So he set the record for most home runs by a catcher. He hit 60 this season. I think the previous record was like 45. So kind of destroyed the record. Hit the most home runs by a switch hitter. The record was previously like 54. Broke that record. I think that was really the 2 records. And then he broke the Mariners' single season home run record, previously held by Ken Griffey Jr. So pretty incredible season from Cal Raleigh. We'll see if he wins MVP. The MVP currently is between him or Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. So both are deserving. I guess we'll just see where they go with it. If I had to guess, this is going to be a Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen situation where both are deserving, but Aaron Judge has won 2 MVPs, and Cal Raleigh just had a pretty historic season, and the storyline fits him better. So,
For those that don't know, and I'm not going to say I'm one of them, I'm not going to not say that. So you just do with that what you want. What is a switch hitter?
a switch hitter is somebody that hits both left and right-handed.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought, but just in case, just wanted clarification.
Yeah, they hit both left and right-handed. So, in baseball, there is an advantage to being able to hit both left and right-handed, because essentially you'd be able to switch depending on what hand the pitcher is pitching with. There are advantages to hitting right-handed, I believe, against a right-handed pitcher and left-handed against a left-handed pitcher. So that is the
cool.
It's pretty.
See, we're learning things every day.
It's pretty common, but
learning things every day.
You don't see real home run hitters do it. It's kind of rare for that. So it was pretty impressive. Not to mention he is a catcher, which is one of the hardest positions to play in baseball. So it was pretty impressive. That's kind of why I think he's going to win MVP, along with the overall storylines of like the historical records, hitting 60 home runs, which is pretty impressive. I believe the record is 62 in the AL, in the American League, and that was set by Aaron Judge a couple years ago. So 60 is pretty impressive. I guess we'll see. My prediction is Raleigh for MVP.
I mean, sounds like he deserves it. It sounds like he deserves it. Aaron Judge is great. I'm not saying he's not.
The thing with Judge is he leads in all major offensive categories.
Well, of course he does, but then, the playoffs come and it's just not the same. So really, Judge is the Lamar of the situation, and it's cool. That's a fun comparison to be thinking about right now.
That's what I said. That's why I made the comparison. It fits pretty well.
Cool. Not this year, right? This year, regular season sucks, so maybe they'll win the Super Bowl.
They have to make it there first.
Maybe this is what they needed. to be shit for the regular season. Fine. It's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
We'll get there eventually.
So we can skip it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not necessary.
Mm.
No, but sounds good. I'm gonna try again, right? I'm gonna try playoff baseball. I tried last year to watch the World Series, and I watched more of it than I've
thought.
probably ever watched baseball. So we're gonna try again. I might make sure to catch like a Mariners game, see if that helps
Helps.
any.
They're a fun team. They're a fun team to watch. I'm very glad I went that route.
That's fair. It helps. It helps finding a team to get invested in.
Trying to think of, I think like obviously the Yankees are fun because they have Aaron Judge and they have a good team.
Yeah.
The Dodgers with Shohei,
Otani.
good team. So there are ways. I've been trying to focus more on players than teams. It's made it a little easier.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So
Alrighty. Well, now I believe we will kick it into college football.
yeah,
As I know, both Brendan and I were able to actually watch some of that this weekend. Much better than we did last weekend. So
I watched
let's get into
quite a
that.
bit of college football. I also thought college football schedule was very stupid this week. And
Okay.
kind of talk about it. Because I think overall it was a great week. Like, great week for football. We'll start with the Friday game I watched. I watched Florida State versus Virginia. This was an incredible game. The game ended 38-46 in favor of Virginia, and it went to second overtime. This was in Virginia, and Florida State is ranked 8th in the nation. Virginia is unranked. And kind of the best part of college football is the fact that you do get these upsets and these huge wins, especially like Virginia upsetting the 8th ranked team in the nation at home was incredible, and the field rush and like just the fans of college football is kind of what makes it great. And seeing that field rush and what it means to the fans and to like the people in that stadium was amazing. That's kind of like my favorite part of college football was that reaction to the win. Obviously, it was kind of scary, considering there was a Florida State player that almost got like in the crowd trampled. Thankfully, everyone on Florida State is okay. I do believe Virginia fans helped the guy up to make sure he got off the field, so that's all good. That is a scary situation, but I also don't think you can take field rushing away from college football. I want to start there. Field rushing is a big deal for college football. That is something that happens a lot. I think it's great for the sport. As long as fans are respectful and don't harm athletes. And thankfully, Virginia did pretty well. Their fans were great. Florida State was able to get off the field. No one was harmed, and all was well. So,
The extreme fine, notwithstanding.
who cares? It's college football, man. Like, that's the best part, is being able to rush the field after upsetting the 8th ranked team in the nation.
That's fair. You're just hoping that one day you get to rush the field, but your team is terrible.
The one time I could have, I didn't. And now I'm stuck with a terrible team. It's a terrible team. It's terrible.
Yeah, not mine. I saw.
It's so bad. So bad.
I saw.
Yeah, so enough about my team, because I don't want to talk about my team. Moving on to Saturday's slate of games. This was probably the best slate of games we've had in a long time. And we'll just kind of go in order. So the first game was the one of the 4:30 games. There was two of them, which is why I think this was a stupid schedule. You scheduled Oregon Penn State, which is a huge matchup. You have two top 10 teams playing against each other, and then Alabama Georgia was also at 4:30. So you schedule two games that are supposed to be very good at the same time, which I think was just dumb for
Yeah.
college football. So that was my complaint. I think you could have spread it out, but whatever. What do I know? So we'll start with Oregon Penn State. This was a great game. Another one that went to second overtime. Um, Oregon gets the win 30-24 in Happy Valley, which is where Penn State is. So it was a great game. Oregon led for most of it. Penn State made a huge comeback in the fourth quarter to get it into overtime. And then Oregon gets a touchdown in second overtime. Penn State can't respond. Pretty much immediately throws an interception to end the game. So, congrats to Oregon. Huge win in Pennsylvania. So that's great for them. Penn State kind of has been looking like not frauds, but not deserving of that number 3 spot. Their quarterback hasn't been playing great. He is a senior, so that's a little surprising. It's just not been great. I think they'll be fine. I still think they'll finish pretty high. It's just I don't know if they're gonna beat anybody big. I don't know if they're gonna be able to beat the likes of Oregon, the likes of Ohio State, and these other bigger, stronger teams. So I guess we'll see. Oregon, though, that's a huge win. That's going to propel them to pretty high in the standings. Moving on. The other game, this was, I think, the 12:30 game, was LSU versus Ole Miss. This game was in Mississippi. So this was a great game. LSU 19, Ole Miss 24. Ole Miss gets the win. They were at home. I think they were just a better team for the most part. LSU's offense really couldn't get anything going. One of their touchdowns was a really weird deflection situation that was kind of lucky. So I think Ole Miss deserved to win this game. It was definitely a great game. There were some interesting storylines with this game that were kind of funny. But Ole Miss gets the win, well deserved. Gets the upset over number 4 LSU. So pretty cool there. It was a good game, but not as interesting as some of the other ones. That one felt more in control for Ole Miss. And then I think one of the last games I watched was Alabama Georgia, and this game was pretty good. Alabama got out to a lead early, and then Georgia kind of fought back throughout the game, but Alabama was able to kind of hold them off. I think this is a big win for Alabama in terms of trying to build their culture back to what it should be. Obviously, they've kind of struggled this season. I think we've talked about Alabama like every week.
Yep.
And this was kind of the game you were looking for from Alabama. It was a good win. Beating Georgia in Georgia, who's number 5 in the nation, is pretty impressive. Kind of surprising.
This was the main game I watched. I didn't get the chance to watch both this one and Oregon at the same time. I had to pick. So I did watch Alabama, Georgia. There are still, I think, concerns with the offensive side of Alabama. But to get this win when really nobody thought that was going to happen, with the way both teams have been playing, the way both teams are ranked, for Alabama to, in Georgia, defensively hold them at bay, because it was 24-21 at the end of the third quarter, I believe. So to hold them off defensively, to keep moving the ball, I think is really impressive. I know Alabama doesn't look the way we're so used to seeing it, and their fans are so used to seeing it. But I do think this was a great win, and I do think it goes a long way towards rebuilding what they once were. It's hard now with NIL. It's hard now with the way college football is structured. But I think this was a great step in that direction. Yes, obviously, there were concerns during that game, and the broadcast was not hesitant to point them out. Like, I don't know that you needed to tell the entire world that one of their wide receivers has the most drops in the SEC. Like, that might not have been necessary. But especially when Alabama is known for kind of turning out NFL wide receivers. But I think it's a step in the right direction.
I think this is an important win for kind of just getting yourself back into a rhythm in a way, back into where you want to be. Like, I know Alabama already has the winning culture, but that was under Saban. It's now shifted. You got to rebuild that winning culture in that.
And you want to win against good teams. You want to kind of be. You want to be thought of as a contender and as a force to be reckoned with. And I think this win does that.
Goes a long way to doing that.
Yeah.
So, great win. I think that was the only other game I really watched this week.
The only other game I watched, I did watch the Tennessee game. Tennessee and Missouri State. It was a good game. Went to overtime. I know Tennessee fans have been concerned about whether or not they could hold their own and whether or not they could be a contender this year. Obviously, with the loss to Georgia, but they've held on and they've played good football. And this was kind of the epitome of that. It was just a good game. They played hard. They were down at one point. They had multiple lead changes throughout this game, but to get into overtime and get the win was really impressive. They have a new quarterback this year. We talked about the drama. We talked about all of that this offseason. So to see their players going out fighting every week in and week out, and getting these wins, I think is really impressive, and it's been really fun to watch.
Nice. I didn't watch this game, and I'm realizing I missed a good one. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a great game. High scoring. I know that's something that college football fans are a really big fan of. It was a fast-paced game. Both teams played really well.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, disappointing I missed that one. But it is what it is.
Okay.
Can't watch them all.
Can't. It's not. I do agree. Like, now that I'm getting into it, right? I do agree with your take early off season, whenever. I don't know, me and time. They should have a red zone for college football.
I think they need to. I think the problem with college football is all the games are spread out. It's all.
That's okay. Figure it out.
Like, you have kickoffs at 10. Wait, no, 9, and then 12:30, and then 4:30, and then 7:30. They need to.
But even if you did something small with those games, because.
If you did a red zone that just spanned the day, I guess.
Yeah. I just wish.
Fun, but I don't know.
I wish they did, and you could put commercials in it, right? Because red zone things I don't notice, that they're kind of upping it every week. They're getting a little bolder every week. They're like, oh, we're not really getting complaints, so we can.
To be fair,
a little step further. I'm noticing, but I'm not complaining. So
because I think they're doing it very differently than how I thought they were.
So, because they're just putting it like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
this was the first week. This was the first week, right? That the ad popped up and the ad spoke. Like normally it just pops up
It
and it
spoke.
sits there. Yeah. DraftKings had an ad where
Oh,
the audio overlaid
I missed that.
red
But
zone. Yeah.
that was a
I'm
surprise to
like,
me.
but I'm noticing.
Fair.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah. Because of how they're doing it, it's not bothering me as much, but
It's not bothering me at all.
so as long as they don't get bolder from here, it's fine.
Yeah, let's leave it at this.
But yes, a college football red zone would be ideal right now. Because I think someone posted something about it. Like the amount of, in order to watch every game of college football, like between ranked opponents, you
Okay.
would need like 8 streaming services.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like the SEC channel or the Big 12, stuff like that. So it's like, can we just have a red zone so I can just watch that and just get the
Yeah.
touchdowns?
That'd be great. That'd be great.
It would be nice. But I don't think we're ever going to get that. I don't think that's
Probably not. Probably
I don't
not.
think that's an option. Unfortunately.
It's good to have dreams, though. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I do believe that does it for us in college football. So we will
Yeah.
now kick it to the NFL. We do have some news as that time of year and injuries continue to mount.
Some rather unfortunate news around the league. We're gonna start with the least severe injury. Chargers left tackle Joe Alt is going to miss a couple weeks. I don't know if he's going to go on IR with a high ankle sprain. He kind of dodged a bullet. It looked a lot worse. Thankfully, just a high ankle sprain. And for me to say just a high ankle sprain tells you the possibilities of what it looked like.
It looked
Bad.
terrible. I was like, oh, that's it. Oh, you're out at least a year.
Yeah. And then for it to just be a high ankle.
Shit's tore up. Yeah, though that's 4 to 6 weeks, depending on kind of your body and severity of it. But
offensive tackles, it tends to be that longer, like the 5-week mark, just because of how big you are and how much you have to put on your ankle in movement. So I would expect him to be out. I expect him to hit IR. Just as he's probably going to be out for more than 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see. The Chargers haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't really expected them to, but they haven't. So we'll find out. And then on to the more severe injuries. We have a couple that are really unfortunate. We'll start with the Giants, the New York Giants receiver, Malik Neighbors. He tore his ACL. It was not great. You could kind of see it happen, and it was
pretty terrible.
Awful.
It was pretty gut-wrenching. I did not know this. This was the same game.
Yeah.
That OBJ fucked himself up.
Mm-hmm. Same game, same stadium.
That's crazy. Yeah. Same everything.
Pretty much same time. It was the parallel.
It was week 4 against the Chargers at home.
And
it was nuts.
It's like they're both from LSU. They both had incredible rookie seasons. It's a little weird.
And now you're concerned that Neighbors can't stay healthy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think the bigger conversation really should be about MetLife Stadium, where the Giants and the Jets play, because
this is a problem. This is a
It
problem.
happens a lot.
Like, I don't know what on God's green earth we tell ourselves that we care so much about player health and player safety, but this field hasn't been addressed.
And turf fields in general, because
Yeah,
most significant injuries happen on turf
happen
fields.
on turf.
So, not really sure how we're not addressing that yet, but I think the NFL is going to have to hear soon. Like,
I mean, you would think, but we've been talking about this for years.
yeah, so,
We talked about this 2 years ago when it was Aaron Rodgers.
yeah. I don't know what it's going to take. It'll probably take a big player, a MVP level player, to snap,
Getting hurt.
to tear something in a field like MetLife or one of the other turf fields in order to get it
That's
switched,
insane. That's insane.
which
Shouldn't be necessary.
is unfortunate, but kind of just where we're at with the NFL. So, and then the other one, this one was really bad. Like, don't go watch this.
Don't look at this video. Don't do
Don't
it.
do it. I know us saying that is going to make you go do it. Don't do it.
But you've been warned. I felt this. I felt this.
So Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill dislocated his knee. And that might not sound bad. Might not. It looked bad. But the problem with dislocating your knee is that comes with tearing your ACL, your MCL, your PCL, and the possibility that you've now ruptured an artery, you've severed some nerves. So that's kind of not good. He was rushed to the hospital from the game. I believe he is still in the hospital awaiting surgery. I think the last news we got was that he tore at least his ACL plus some. It does not seem like the artery or the nerves were impacted very much, which is really good news. That is something a lot of doctors will say with a dislocated knee is it is actually an emergency. If you dislocate your knee, it's not good. So thankfully for him, no artery was impacted. I don't think nerve damage hasn't really been decided yet, but it seems like none of that's been impacted. So it is just all of the ligaments, and those can be repaired. It is unfortunate. He is over 30, and this could be, I don't want to say it, but this kind of injury can be career ending.
Yeah.
It's just one of those with all the damage that's done to your knee for a player like Tyreek Hill. This can lead down that road. So hopefully
because
it doesn't.
Unfortunately, the likelihood, right? Like a lot of these injuries that we talk about are a year ish. The likelihood that this is a year is very low.
Because wasn't it Tank Dell last year did the same thing, and he did it during like week 5, and he's still not even close to coming back.
No.
And he is in his like 3rd year in the NFL, so he's only mid-20s, and he's still so for a 31-year-old, I believe is how old Tyreek Hill is, to come back from this kind of injury. Not likely, unfortunately.
And I don't mean this in any kind of way, but it takes a level of dedication to try and come back. And that is not every NFL player. That is not every athlete. So really, this path is determined by Tyreek Hill.
We'll see. He might also just decide to be done.
To be done. He's been frustrated the last couple years. It's not been any better.
And an injury like this definitely will kind of put that idea in your mind. So
yeah,
we'll see. Hoping for the best for him. Like, that was a very scary injury.
It was horrifying. It was horrifying.
Yeah. It was not fun to watch. It's not.
No.
Don't recommend it. But I think that does it for injuries. I don't think there were any other very major ones, unless I missed one. And if I missed one, I do apologize.
That I know. Not as of right now.
Yeah. I don't think there's any season-ending injuries I missed. So, knock on wood, hopefully that stays true.
Yep.
Don't really want to see anybody get hurt.
It's the worst part of football. It's inevitable, but it is the worst part of football.
Yeah. On to better news, slightly more uplifting news. The NFL has announced who their Super Bowl halftime show will be. They made an announcement last night, or was it Sunday?
Sunday. It was during Sunday Night Football.
Okay. They made an announcement. It is going to be Bad Bunny. He will be the first solo Latin male artist to perform the halftime show. I have no real opinion on this. I don't really care about the halftime show regardless. It's not why I watch the Super Bowl. I watch the Super Bowl for football, not for the halftime show. So I don't really care.
Or the commercials. That's not what I'm here for.
So I mean, good for him. I don't know a lot about his music. Don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Can't really say one way or the other if I'm excited or not.
So we're going to breach my rule for a moment, and then we're going to reclose that door, right? Because we don't do this. It's not the point of this show. After last year's halftime show, right? Kendrick Lamar did a great job. It was a great performance. Explicitly did things he was told not to do.
Yeah.
The concern I had was that we were going to get more conservative with it. No controversy. We swung the other direction. Pretty far in the other direction of, nope, we're kind of leaning into it. We're kind of leaning into the controversy, the controversial artists that make their political opinion extremely well known and extremely heard with major platforms, and their political opinion is in extreme opposition to the current administration. So I find that interesting as well as positive. But I find it more interesting given the fire the NFL has currently come under because of recent events and choices made at games. I'm not getting any further into that. Either you know or you don't. So I was glad to see that the NFL is still leaning into, we are trying to expand on a global reach and a cultural reach, and to see that continued despite the controversy or the criticism does make me happy. No, I don't listen to Bad Bunny's music. I just don't. But I am happy for him, and maybe I'll watch it. I couldn't tell you the last halftime show that I watched. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. In the moment. because that's usually when I get up and I eat, and like that's my break time.
I mean, like, it's on,
It's there. It's
but I can't
it's
remember
there.
because it wasn't the Kendrick. Wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. I can't even remember the last few. That's.
It
I
was
think
Kendrick, and then it was Rihanna before
didn't
that,
watch that one.
and then it was the 50 Cent, Eminem, Snoop, all them
Kendrick,
the year before that.
which that's
And then I don't remember anything before that. I don't care. That's
yeah.
my break time. That's my break. It's like I'm a player in that moment. You know what I mean? I gotta hydrate, fuel.
Get back into the.
Sometimes I need another drink.
That's fair.
It kind of depends
That's a good point.
on what's going on.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't care about halftime shows. You could not have one, and I wouldn't notice.
And I wouldn't notice.
You could. I don't even know.
No, there are people in our life that would complain because that's why that in the commercials is why they watch it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there like an artist that I would actually care if they did
That you would watch?
And honestly, I don't think there is one. Like even the artists we love.
The artists I love, well, because like what?
There's just no point. Like I'm not there. I'm not there.
I would watch maybe the clip of it later, which tends to be what I do now, just so we can talk about it, or I can. But like, I have a very specific goal during the Super Bowl and during the halftime. Like,
Yeah, I don't.
I try really hard not to get up during
That's
the
what I was
Super
trying
Bowl.
to think. Is there like anybody that would get me to watch it? And I don't think there is.
Not live. Not live. Unless I was there, but then it wouldn't. I mean, even then, I'd probably like get up, get food, go to the bathroom, whatever I needed to do.
Yeah, I don't.
Especially because that halftime is longer. So I would actually feel safe doing that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And nobody else got up because they're all watching the halftime show.
You have all the people there for football doing stuff. The people that are just there to be there are.
I mean, look, I get it, right? But the amount of celebrities that attend the Super Bowl just to be there because it's the place to be that day. Like, they ain't there for football. They're just there. To be like, yeah, I went. I had a good time. It was great. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just don't care about halftime shows. So
Yeah.
This means nothing to me. But hopefully somebody out there enjoys it. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's fair. It's valid point. Alrighty. Well, I do think that does it for breaking news. So we will get into our games of the week.
I think
we'll start with the Ravens.
Okay.
Like we always do. Once again, I apologize for the lack of a preview video. I promise this week I'm going to get better at it. I know I said that last week. My word is starting to become the most irrelevant thing on the planet. But I am trying. It's just been kind of a chaotic couple of weeks. Ravens. What to say? First drive was great, right? Lamar was 5 for 5. Marched down the field, scored. I was excited. Chiefs get stopped. Kick a field goal. I'm like, boom, we're doing better. You can note the exact moment Ronnie Stanley, Lamar Jackson's left tackle, was no longer in the game. Because the O-line that I have been concerned about, I had been complaining about, I had been everything, went to shit so fast. So fast. The penalties, the sacks, all of it. Stanley is the architect and the leader of Lamar's O-line. He is the one piece that has been a constant throughout Lamar's career. I knew this O-line was a problem. What I did not know was how vitally important he was to its current structure. And that was on display today. He earned his paycheck yesterday, or Sunday. He earned it. Because without him, the O-line, honestly, might as well have not even been out there. Linderbaum could not hear Lamar to snap the ball. Usually, you can see it. If it's very loud, the only person on that line that knows Lamar well enough is Stanley. You can see Stanley tap Linderbaum to be like, give him the ball. He's asking for it. He wants it. It avoids delay of games. They had 2 once Stanley was off the field. They had a false start. It disintegrated. It shows a lack of depth. It shows a lack of continuity. And it shows a lack of prepared on that O-line front. And I don't know how it gets better at this point. Stanley is older. He was on the injury report going into the game. He was questionable with an ankle injury. He made it through the first drive and a half. Like Brendan and I talked about, O-linemen and their ankles tend to be out longer. Lamar, I don't know, will survive if he doesn't have Stanley on the field. It's kind of horrified at the beginning of the game, pre-game, talking about Henry doing Ravenclaw drills, that was necessary, but it paid off. He did not fumble. Lamar did, so there's that. It's like progress, but not. But it didn't matter. None of it mattered. I know the game ended. I'm sorry. I guess I should say that. So the Ravens did lose 37-20. The Ravens never get blown out. That's not real. The Ravens lose. They blow leads. They do not ever get blown out. This was the worst the Ravens have looked in a very long time. The play calling offensively was terrible. It was a terrible game plan. Harbaugh criticized it post-game. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish or what we're trying to prove right now. We don't appear to have an identity. I understand that the O-line is not built for running the ball the way the Ravens are set to normally do. Stop trying to throw Mark Andrews the ball. Let him be an extra blocker without Ricard. You had Likely back in the game. There was no reason he couldn't be your targeted tight end. This game plan has gotten worse over the weeks, and we were wildly unprepared for the Chiefs, which is insane because we know this game matters. We know this game can have playoff implications. I don't care that the Chiefs were also 1-2 going into it. But you've now lost to the Bills and the Chiefs. With no hope in sight. Perfectly honest. None whatsoever. It was a terrible game. Chances for it on 4th and 1, we didn't go for. When we did go for it, we have a very specific play for that, right? We have our own tush push that works. We didn't run it. We let Lamar drop back to throw the ball behind the terrible O-line that we'd been seeing. So I, once again, don't know what we're doing with the play calling. It's just been a mess. Not sure how it gets better. Defense. I don't want to hear about injuries. If Patrick Mahomes needs Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, then the Ravens need their defensive line. That's just fact, right? They just do. We saw last week, and we saw again this week, the inability to generate a pass rush creates extensive problems. They did a good job stopping the run, but the Chiefs aren't a good running team, so I don't actually know who gets credit for that. Couldn't generate a pass rush. The secondary was in shambles, giving up big passing plays. There was a clear lack of communication on that front as well. We saw busted coverages. We saw at one point Nate Wiggins asking what the coverage was as the ball was being snapped. Unacceptable. This is not Ravens football. This is not Ravens defense. This is not Ravens anything. It's just shit. It's like watching the Titans. I'm sorry. That's not necessary. But for the love of God, do something. Act like you know who you play for. Act like we have a culture and a standard. Because if you watched just this season of football, if you were like, you know what, I'm going to get into football, I'm going to watch the Ravens because I watched this podcast or whatever, you think I'm stupid. I sound stupid. Getting up here before the season starts, maybe this could be the year. Sound like Cowboys fan. It's fucking crazy. And now this is what we're putting out there. The injuries were monumental to this game. They were missing in pregame. Ricard, Van Noy, Travis Jones, Jair Alexander, Ruben Lowry, like so many injuries to this team and to this defensive front. But it wasn't good before that. So I don't know if getting healthy makes it better. I'd like to think so. But that sounds like false hope. That sounds idealistic. Because just because you're healthy doesn't mean you're going to be able to communicate. And it doesn't mean you won't have the same problems we've seen, which is the penalties and the busted coverages. It also clearly shows an extreme lack of depth on this chart. I have credited EDC for years with his roster building. I think for the very first time, that comes into question. Non-injury sit-outs are concerning me right now. Running back Keaton Mitchell was inactive this game. The week prior, he expressed clear frustration at not being more active during games, if at all. I'm not sure what's going on there. I did not think Ali had done enough to take Keaton Mitchell's spot. So I'm a little surprised at that. I also wonder if we should just put him out there because nobody else is getting anything done. but he was a great talent. I don't think we should waste that, and I definitely don't think that we should be putting his place on the team at risk. Just decision making all around. Shit. Now to end of game decisions due to injuries. Ronnie Stanley went down. Then Roquan Smith went down. And then Marlon Humphrey went down. And then Nate Wiggins went down. So the secondary that was already in shambles just got worse, right? Because it wasn't good anyway. It wasn't good with Humphrey and Wiggins on the field, and then you take them off, and it was just train wreck. Just train wreck. I don't know how severe. Oh, and then I'm sorry, no, I forgot one. I did. Then Lamar went down with the hamstring injury. Quarterback, two-time MVP in his prime, elite quarterback, went down with a hamstring injury, probably because of the shitty O-line aforementioned. Just in case we weren't sure what was going on with the fucking O-line, you can just back up this video a couple seconds, talk about it. All got hurt. I don't know the severity of those injuries. Harbaugh is Harbaugh, right? He's very cagey, very non-descriptive. I would never accuse the Ravens of throwing in the towel. But kind of felt like that's what happened. Especially with Lamar. Because Lamar was the final one to be ruled out. I think Roquan, they were like, okay, sit. Humphrey, sit. Wiggins, sit. And then when Lamar went down, it was like, this is over. Don't go back out there. With the O-line the way it is, the way they're playing, there was no need for that. Nothing positive comes from that. I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. I'm mad about how this team is playing. The final injury I want to talk about is Nnamdi Madubuike. Coach Harbaugh did announce that he is out for the season with a neck injury. Unfortunately, that does have the potential to be a career-ending injury. They're very serious, and they're taken very seriously in the NFL. It will depend on whether or not a doctor can or will clear him. It will also depend on Madubuike. If a doctor clears him, yes, I do believe he will remain a Raven. I don't think we'll see like a Peyton Manning kind of situation. But that's a choice for Madubuike. This is a great loss to this team. It's a great loss to Ravens fans. And hopefully he will be okay moving forward. But his health is paramount. It is bigger than football. So hopefully we see him return. But more importantly, hopefully he just gets healthy. Without him, I am genuinely ready to throw in the towel on this season. I do think it's time to panic. I do think it's time to be worried. And I really don't know if getting healthy in the places that they can will be enough. Moving forward, the schedule does get a little easier, but not extremely. We have the Texans coming up. They have a great defensive line. Will Anderson is a great pass rusher. I do not have a good O-line. We have the LA Rams coming up. They have a great defense. Then the bye week. Then the Bears. Maybe. But if you drop to 1-6, 1-5, it's over. It's over. Has to get better right now. The Steelers are first in the division, right? I watched that game. Not looking great, right? The Bears, shambles. Bengals, shambles. I'm concerned that we're in that category. So, it was a bad game. It was a really bad game. It was one of the worst I've ever seen the Ravens play since Lamar Jackson. Top to bottom. Play calling, playing, personnel decisions, all of it. And these are not problems that you're going to fix in 6 days. And then just add a shit show of injuries on top. It's just the unfun surprise in the middle. So that's how that went. I do have a player of the game, just because it's what we do. It's Tyler Loop, because that's the only person that did their job. Right? The kicker, great job. Made his extra points, made his field goals, no stupid kickoff mistakes. For the rookie, it's great.
Yeah.
But that tells you what you need to know about the Ravens-Chiefs game. Was the kicker was the highlight.
So, I feel like it has to be talked about. I feel like we can't skate around it very much. You said Texans, then Rams, then the bye week?
Yep.
If the Ravens lose those next 2 games, which are legit possibilities with how bad
Legit possibilities.
they've been. Does he get fired?
No, I don't think. No.
Okay.
No. I think I'm not saying that's not a conversation at the end of this season.
But you think he gets the whole season?
I think he gets the whole season. I think
even if they start out 1-5.
I think from a front office standpoint, that just gave him a 3-year extension. Last game and the ones moving forward, you're going to give grace for injury. And I don't think you fire an elite quarterback's head coach midseason. Especially when a big problem right now is offensive play calling and your defensive coordinator's inexperience. Who do you get to take his spot? How do you even remotely find comfort in someone in that organization? Chuck Pagano is your only option. And hate that. So, yeah, he gets the full season, no matter how this goes.
Okay.
At least that's my theory, because of his staff's current makeup. The current concerns lie with a lot of those staff members. And you don't fire an elite quarterback's head coach midseason.
No, I feel like we have to talk about it.
I very much could see it coming. And I'm going to be honest. If they do not get it turned around to fight for their division, if they miss the playoffs for the first time in Lamar's career, with him healthy, it's a very real conversation. And not an unwarranted one. No, I don't think it happens at the bye week like you see with other franchises.
Because I think reasonably they could go into the bye week 1-5. And then pretty much to make the playoffs, they have to win pretty much every game after that.
Luckily, after that,
I have been
The
looking.
schedule swings wildly in their favor.
It does. You do
Like,
have the
we have a stretch, but it's not enough to win the division. It's enough to maybe make the playoffs. Maybe.
yeah. It's
Because the Raiders aren't what we thought they were going to be. The Patriots are still struggling. There are other things. But I don't think you can overrun the Steelers in the division if you drop to 1-5 and then have to win very winnable games. But
the rest of your season.
yeah, I mean, you can't go into the bye week above 500 or even at 500. But or you can't. If they win the next two, they can enter 1-3 or 3-3.
Yeah.
So they would be at 500 with winnable games coming up, but you have to win the next two to even potentially compete for your division. Or you need the Steelers to collapse.
Which is the more likely scenario, if we're being honest.
So, my concerns have not. So, what I'm really glad, right? I think the best part, in a weird way, of being me is I have realistic expectations. And I did not come on here after the Browns game and go, "Oh, better." I knew. And unfortunately, it's just gotten worse.
Yeah. It's not.
These next 2 weeks,
I think,
are paramount.
I think he'll be able to deal with Houston, because I think Houston has enough question marks with their team. I think you're going to get destroyed by the Rams.
I think there's a good chance of that.
I think
there's a good chance of that.
Because I think the problem is that what the Rams do well is what you're doing terribly at.
So that's kind of my concern, right, with the Texans.
However, the Texans have a real offensive line problem themselves and have a real
I have no
issue
D-line
on offense.
I have no D-line right now. If everybody, like, if we operate under the assumption that those that are hurt currently are going to stay hurt, I have no D-line. And my secondary in shambles.
I don't think it takes a D-line.
I think he's going to move that fucking ball down the field.
Unfortunately, I don't think it takes a D-line to get a sack again. Did you watch the sack that happened the other Sunday?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters what your D-line looks like.
That's fair. I guess we will see.
But the Rams, oh yeah, that's not great. Because Nakua might go for 400 yards.
Nakua will go for 400, and their D-line will tear him to shreds.
Yeah.
Without Stanley, he does not stay upright.
You might as well just play rush that game.
I'm going to be honest with you. If Stanley is out that game, I'd be like, yeah, Lamar has an ankle sprain. It's not. He has a concussion. Happened in practice. It's weird, but
he has a weird groin calf issue.
Thing. He's sick. He's got the flu. This is the first time, by the way, that training camp he was not sick once, and I'm concerned that was a bad omen. You know what I mean? He's not hurt a whole ton, but he is sick a lot. And I'm concerned that apparently he was supposed to get sick. That, a butterfly sneezed and now my team is in disarray.
All right. It's fine.
It's fine!
I don't think that's why your team's in disarray.
It's not fine.
I think your team's in disarray for other reasons.
It wasn't good. Let's talk real fast though, the Chiefs side of the ball. If I were Chiefs fans, right? I know that getting Worthy back was really exciting. It was really important. I would not be convinced that they're back to Chiefs excellency. The Ravens were terrible. So yes, they put up some good numbers. You kind of got to see Mahomes play a really good game. But this is one of the worst defenses they've seen. And I would just caution against swinging too far the other way into the Chiefs are back. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Everything's fine now. I'm not convinced of that. And I wouldn't be if I were a Chiefs fan.
Agreed. I'm not sure if the Chiefs won that game. Like, it just felt like everything was going wrong for the Ravens.
Yeah. And it's hard to... I don't want to say they're not, but it's hard to genuinely judge when one team plays that tragically and that with that many mistakes, that many injuries, that many everything.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's a real test for the Chiefs and where they currently sit. So
it's not great. That's for sure. I think the Chiefs' test might be next week. We'll see.
Who do they play?
Jacksonville, who actually looks really good right now, oddly.
They look decent.
It's a weird situation.
They look decent, yeah.
I guess we'll see. But the Ravens, though, they just look not it. It's been... I think had we come into the season and you told me one of our teams was 1-3, the other one is 3-1, I think
I would have flipped them. I would have flipped them.
I would have said, "Oh shit, the Seahawks offense sucks."
Yeah, it's a weird thing to be watching right now.
Yeah, it's definitely not at all expected. So
no,
it's unfortunate.
I really had them. I think evidence-wise and history-wise, justifiably, is the undoubted winner of the division and fighting for the 1 seed. And as of right now, they'll be lucky to make a wild card spot.
Yeah. It's not looking great. So
something has to give. I did talk about it during the offseason, that if problems persisted, we would be having a head coach conversation. That conversation has gotten louder.
And I don't spend a lot of time on Ravens Twitter. I just don't. I'll occasionally peek my head in just to see what's going on. I felt like a very common thing I was seeing was a fan's discontent for the fact that McDonald is no longer there.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of that. I even saw a couple of them complaining that they should have fired Harbaugh that year. They didn't win anything.
Yeah.
That was the year they got knocked out in, the second round of the playoffs?
Second. Because they were the 1 seed?
Yeah, that was the year
they only played the 1 game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That they were annoyed that they didn't fire Harbaugh then, and then just signed McDonald then.
Yeah. I'm not sure what we're going to do.
I don't think that's a good way of thinking from the Ravens, or from Ravens fans.
I don't think...
Because...
I don't know that it goes the way you think it's going to go.
I really think it's more... The Seahawks took a huge risk hiring McDonald. Yeah. He was the youngest head coach in the league. Like, when they hired him, he became the youngest head coach in the league. That is a huge risk. Had no prior experience head coaching. was only a coordinator for 2 years with the Ravens, and was only a coordinator for like 3 years, period.
What I think is more likely, and Ravens fans can say what they want, and they can do what they want. I think the more likely scenario is not that Harbaugh gets fired, but that Harbaugh fires his coordinators.
That's
Because Harbaugh is not a play caller. That's kind of always been the thing that makes Harbaugh good. Is he does not get overly attached. Some head coaches will go down with the play caller. Harbaugh is not that. I don't know that would be a good idea. I don't know if that would be good enough. I'm just saying, I think if somebody's getting fired,
I think it's also
probably not Harbaugh.
I think it's also about time for that to happen. I don't know if it's just Harbaugh. I think it's a lot of them. I think that there is a genuine time frame at which a coach can succeed within the NFL. Yeah. And I think he's to the point where the message is no longer there. The buy-in might no longer be there. And so once that happens, you have to change.
Yeah.
You have to.
So there is a lot riding on the rest of this season. A lot. Now, the genuine last time Harbaugh's job came under fire, serious fire, we got Lamar Jackson. That is what led to Lamar Jackson. Because Lamar was not supposed to play that year. Flacco got hurt, so Lamar entered the game. Flacco got back. Harbaugh was told to play Flacco. Harbaugh told the Ravens to get booked because he knew his job was on the line. He said in a whole team meeting, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to do it playing my guy.
Fair enough.
Now here we are.
Just
I don't know what you do.
You play Cooper Rush?
I don't know what your Hail Mary is now. Because Cooper Rush ain't it. Right? So
I'm not.
It's a real question and a real concern. No, I don't think it happens at the bye week. Yes, I do think it's possibly coming. If it stays like this, it's coming. If it stays like this.
It's hard. I just can't see the Ravens starting 1-5 and him not be at least talked about.
Yeah.
Especially going into the bye.
It's a conversation. I just don't think they do it.
I don't know. That one's tough. Because of who it is, I agree. But
I also like we never see an elite quarterback's head coach get fired. So I don't know what kind of say Lamar has in that.
But
if EDC is like, man, I think we got to, and Lamar goes, fucking try it.
I mean,
or if Lamar goes, maybe it's time. Like, I don't know how that works. He has say in the roster. I have a hard time thinking he doesn't have a say in the head coach.
Yeah, it's definitely... He probably has something. It's just a weird situation because...
I would bet because Harbaugh coaches the way he does, it's like a Lamar, Roquan, Hamilton
committee.
kind of get a say.
But but I don't.
EDC needs assurance that the message hasn't stopped landing. It's them.
It's tough. I also think you made a good point of there's nobody there to hire. Like,
No. The only option you have is Chuck Pagano. It's the only option.
unless you want to give it to Modkin, because you're not giving it to Orr.
My concern is that Monken is struggling right now with getting his offense in line. How you going to get the whole team in line?
I think that's the problem.
Focus on your fucking job.
And
Fix
the defense,
your job.
And the defense is struggling too, so it's a shit show. I don't know. The Ravens are gonna be weird. Maybe. I don't.
Has head coach experience. He's the only one on the roster with NFL head coach experience.
I just don't think he gets. I think you're right. I think because they don't have anybody in staff,
no,
they can't do it.
They can't. They won't. I'm pretty confident of that, but I was pretty confident of a lot of things this season that aren't going well. So who knows?
Yeah, that's
what the fuck do I know?
That's fair. That's fair. You know, I feel like that's just unfortunate. It's just how it be sometimes, though.
You know it's bad when I'm turning games off.
That
go. I'll watch this later. I know how this goes. I know how this ends. I don't need to watch it in real time. I'm just gonna go back. And that's what I did.
That's probably fair.
The problem was they were in the afternoon slate.
Yeah.
So Red Zone had them on a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, just go away.
So one nice thing about being on primetime is I got to just watch.
And it was
Red
a good
Zone.
game. Your primetime game was good. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Seahawks.
Yeah, significantly better than the Ravens right now. They at least won. The Seahawks Cardinals was the Thursday night football game. So yeah, primetime. Because of that, I kind of just got to watch football on Sunday. It was great. It was fantastic. Got to watch football after Seahawks win, so that was even better. It was just a great weekend. In terms of the actual game, Seahawks win 23-20. It should not have been that close. I'm really annoyed that it was that close. I'm like very annoyed it was that close. Because I thought the Seahawks could have ended the game several times. Several times. I don't know if it's Mike McDonald. I don't know if it's Kubiak. I don't know if it's just kind of the philosophy we live by. But we need to start trying to end games on offense, not defense. I get it. The defense is our calling card, and it is great. This defense is fantastic. Top 5 in the league. But let's try not to end games with the defense when we can end the game with the offense. And I feel like that's what we're doing. It's like the offense does well. I thought the offense played well. And then in that late game, I felt like you saw the conservative play style take over. And we didn't let Darnold throw the ball as much. On third down, where you're not quite in field goal range, you're kind of there. Myers can hit that kind of kick, but he's not the most consistent. And you see them not try to push the ball down the field more, and they just hand the ball off, gain like 2 yards, and then try to kick and miss it. It was a little annoying. It's a little... Because Darnold had been playing great. He's been playing great all year. Guess what? He's the second best quarterback in the league right now. According to like every grading metric out there. PFF, PFN, other people's grading. He is the second best quarterback, only behind Dak Prescott. In terms of grades. If you want to sit there and tell me other people look better, sure. I don't care. But In terms of grades, he has been the second best passing quarterback in the league this year. And we take the ball out of his hands on 3rd and long when we need 6 yards to make the field goal easier, and we just hand the ball off. I feel like that's just conservative, dumb play calling. Beyond that, though, I thought the offense played well. I thought overall the offense clicked. I think the O-line had some struggles. Calais Campbell is still somehow great at football. He might be 38, but he's still really good at football, which kind of makes me happy. I like Calais Campbell. I just wish he didn't do it against the Seahawks. But whatever. So yeah, Charbonnet gets a touchdown when he returns. That was great. Barner had a good touchdown. That was great. That throw and catch was just spectacular. Love that. Darnold's been playing really well. I think he's making throws that he's making look easy and very much aren't, which I love to see. I think he looks confident. I think he's looked in control of the offense. I think is the best way to put it. So that's great. JSN continues to be great. Didn't have a target in the first half. And then when it mattered most, had 2 of the biggest catches of the game. One of them on the drive that they missed the field goal to get them pretty much into field goal range. And then on the last drive, made the catch that got them into field goal range. It was a great catch, great awareness to get out of bounds. It was fantastic there. I think he's definitely, I know I said this like a few weeks ago, there's a lot of questions whether he could be the true number 1. And I think this game absolutely proved it. Because even when he was taken away for the entirety of the first half and really wasn't getting much in the second half until the fourth quarter, when it mattered most and when you had to have it, he got it. And I think that is the key to a number 1 receiver, is when you need to have it, they get it. So that was great to see. I think he really has made that step there. I think, again, I said the offensive line struggled. 3 sacks allowed, that's their most on the season. I think coming into the game, they'd only allowed like 4. So, not great. This is a good Cardinals defense, so I guess I'm not too bothered by it. It's just kind of annoying. I just felt like the offense was left. The one thing with the offense is they left points on the board quite often. They missed the field goal where I thought they could have pushed the ball further down if they gave Darnold a chance to throw. They had the Kenneth Walker stupid taunting penalty that pushed them out of field goal range. They had a terrible, god-awful holding call on JSN that took away a touchdown. I thought that was a terrible call. I get it. I get what the refs saw. The Cardinals DB hit JSN. And as JSN's falling to the ground, the DB falls on top of him. And it kind of looked like JSN might have grabbed him and brought him down with him. But he didn't. The corner just ran into him and fell. Like, JSN lost the rep, really. The corner just fell. The corner was never going to make the play anyway. Like, his back was to the ball. He was never going to be able to change direction and get to Charbonnet. I just think that holding call was so needless and stupid. Like, it wasn't a hold, and there was no way the defensive player was making the play, even if it was a hold. That's, like, the annoying part of it. So it's just dumb. It's just dumb. So lots of points left on the board. Should not have been this close. Defensively, I thought they played well. 6 sacks, 2 interceptions. one for Bryant, one for Ernest Jones. Bryant did fumble his interception back to the Cardinals. This was another thing I thought was weird. If you watch it again, he slides. He's sliding to give himself up. And his knee's on the ground. And then, I think it was Tyrese Knight, the other linebacker for the Seahawks, hits him. And he loses the ball. Now, he's not downed by a Cardinal player. He's never touched by a Cardinal player. But he slides, which is giving yourself up. So he should be down at the point his knee hits the ground. And yet they still called the fumble. It was a little weird. I didn't really understand the call in terms of we see quarterbacks slide all the time. We see other players slide, hit the ground, and give themselves up. Why in this scenario was that not the case? Because I think it was very clear that his knee was down and he still had possession of the ball. And then he was hit. So I didn't understand that one. I'm not necessarily blaming the refs. I just think that one was weird. Of like, why? Why is this scenario different?
The only player that can slide and down themselves is the quarterback.
But we saw it last year with Michael Pierce's interception.
So that's the thing, right? He slides, gives himself up. When he stands back up, the offense then goes after him because he wasn't downed by a player.
But they called it down prior. They called it once he slid.
Once he got back up, they were like, no, they hadn't. They didn't end it until he got back up and was getting off the field. They were like,
because
he's out.
You're allowed, but here's the thing, you're allowed to give yourself up. That's the weird thing about it.
You're allowed to give yourself up. I think you still have to be downed by a player and survive.
I don't think you have to. I don't know.
I mean,
I think because we see it. I've seen it a couple times where players would just slide down on defense and not be touched, and they blow the whistle. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the scenario, if because you're around players, they let it go.
If they're like, you're going to be. I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't know if it's just in the rule book weird. I don't know. It was a weird scenario, regardless. Like, your own player hits you and you lose the ball as you're sliding. I don't know. Regardless, that was unfortunate. I think otherwise the defense played great. Cardinals offense could do like nothing in the game. Until the fourth quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, we started seeing the corners struggle for the Seahawks. Witherspoon got beat twice. Reek can play 90% of a game and do just fine. But then in the fourth quarter, when things start to matter more, he cannot seem to pull his head out of his ass. 2 terrible penalties for DPI that really extended drives for the Cardinals. Again, Spoon got beat twice. One for a touchdown, one for the first down on an eventual touchdown. Not great. Give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Was coming off an injury. First game back. That could have something to do with it, which is not great there. So yeah. And then, Reek, just kind of loss of concentration, penalties, just dumb moments in the fourth quarter. And that's kind of just been his MO recently. So hopefully he figures that out. But I don't know. But yeah, I thought the defense played great still, even with that 2 late touchdowns. I don't know if that was really on the defense. I think, Spoon missing a couple plays, Reek doing some stupid stuff. The defensive line was getting tired. They had been chasing Murray all day. Not easy. So I think they played well. It's just unfortunate that they gave up a couple touchdowns. They did at least win. So they were playing good enough. It was just a thing. I don't know.
Oh, real fast. Yeah, the slide should have been enough.
Okay. So I don't
Any
know.
player advancing the ball can give themselves up, and it should tell the official that the play is over, and they should
All
end the
right.
play.
Well, then I don't know. Maybe he
I
lost the
know I
ball.
had a theory.
Maybe he lost the ball sooner.
Didn't
I don't.
didn't work out that way.
I don't know. Who knows? I don't. At this point, it doesn't matter. I don't really care that much. It was just a weird
Yeah.
thing that I thought didn't make a ton of
Well, and
sense.
I was like, I'd like clarification.
Um,
So.
all right, cool. So yeah, the Seahawks had the ball taken away, given back to the Cardinals, and then they scored 3 points because of it. So that's great. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Seahawks still won. Yeah. Defensively, I thought they were fine, except for late in the fourth quarter where I thought you started seeing the mistakes. Hopefully that gets corrected. Some of those penalties I thought were just really bad. They were penalties. I just think the Seahawks need to do better in those scenarios. Type of bad. So yeah, it was still a good win. Felt like the offense could be more aggressive. That's kind of my biggest takeaway from this game is the offense just needs to be more aggressive. Needs to like actually try to end games, not leave it to the defense. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know. That's a Kubiak McDonald call. I don't know, but they need to start giving Darnold the option to go win games. I thought that was a real missed opportunity here. So yeah, in terms of my players of the game, I went JSN on offense. I thought he had two of the biggest catches of the game. I thought he looked great. Walker had a couple dumb penalties. Charbonnet didn't rip any like big runs. They get the touchdown. Probably should have had two, but thought he was all right. I just thought JSN in the big moments was the best player. And then defensively, I had Ernest Jones. I thought he played great. I think he's been exactly what the Seahawks need. Got another interception. Granted, it was on a Marvin Harrison drop. So that's that. Thought he was great. So those are my offensive, defensive players of the game. Thought they were both great. Jones, I think, is severely underrated around the league. I think he's one of the best linebackers. I think he's been playing like one of the best linebackers. He's just never talked about in that manner. So it's unfortunate, but I think he's starting to show the NFL that he is actually one of the best out there at the linebacking position. So that's cool. Love that. That was great. There was one thing to talk about with the Seahawks because this report came out the other day. I think it was Sunday. They're listening and monitoring to Rick Woolen trade talks. I think this report came out for a couple reasons. I think the Seahawks are kind of tired of dealing with the mental mistakes that he's making. I also think this is a report that is trying to draw interest from other teams. And maybe it was from his side or theirs. I'm not really sure. It's just, it seems like a trade is going to happen. I just got that feeling. A lot of times you'll see these like trade reports and you'll kind of know that it's nothing. This one feels like there's something brewing and a trade is going to happen. We'll see. I'm not sure what the Seahawks would want or get out of it. I think, again, he's good for about 90% of the game, and he's a lockdown, doesn't really get targeted, doesn't have any problems. And then for that other couple drives where you see the penalties or mistakes, it's not great. So I think he is valuable to the Seahawks. We'll see what they get out of it. I think he's better off on the team than the Seahawks just getting a future pick. Like, especially with how the Seahawks are playing, and if they truly think they can contend for the division. I think he's better off on the team than not in that scenario, but we'll see. If they could turn him into somebody else, maybe a pass rusher, maybe something that'll help the team more, I could see it happening. It's just not. I don't know. It would depend on what other teams feel his value is. And currently, I'm not sure there is a ton of value there. So we'll find out. I think a trade will be made. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's where I'm at. I think a trade will be made. I'm not necessarily sure I agree with trading him. But we'll see. It'll definitely be an interesting couple of weeks to see what they decide to do with it. Because they've got to decide pretty quickly. I think trade deadline is November 4th, if I recall. They talked about it.
In that time.
So yeah. We'll see. But other than that, the Seahawks have been kind of rolling. I think winning in primetime was huge. Kind of got national attention.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Which they haven't really. It was a great game. I was a little shocked it got as close as it did.
It just shouldn't have. That's the problem. It just shouldn't have.
The conservative play calling was off-putting. I think while it wasn't a trap game, I think they thought they had a little more room than they did. So I guess we'll see how the Seahawks respond moving forward. But Darnold has been playing really well. We're seeing the best versions of him. We're seeing the Minnesota Vikings version of him continue. But a little bit better. He's playing better when under pressure.
I was going to say, I think he's even better than he was with the Vikings.
Yeah. I think we're seeing his improvement and his development. I think it's been a great team. I'm excited for your first game against the Rams.
I think that's not for a while.
So, because that's really the only team in your division that
it's the only team I'm afraid
you're going to kind of fight with.
Honestly. I know we lost to the 49ers week 1.
Yeah, but that's not.
It was week 1.
I watched that game this past week.
And
so
now that the 49ers don't have Bosa, they're done.
Yeah, that's not real. So when Mac Jones plays better than Brock Purdy, that's not a real conversation. I thought it was a great game. I think y'all are playing really well. I'm excited. I'm excited for what Darnold's been doing and how that team looked. I know there were a lot of criticisms and doubts going into the season.
And
I think the Seahawks have responded. And like you said, they got to respond in a primetime fashion. And this is not a team that should be taken lightly.
I do want to comment on that because I feel, 1, vindicated, 2, annoyed.
Okay, go.
All offseason, the national media and a lot of people have been very down on the Seahawks and what they decided to do. Moving on from Geno, moving on from DK, kind of just their whole offseason.
Everything they did, yeah.
Yeah, just very down on it. And I think at the time, I had said, it's a gamble. But overall, I think it's a gamble worth taking. Because we've seen Geno Smith can't get it done. Had really bad mistakes. And
we're seeing what that looks like right now.
Yeah. Feeling good about that one. And then we're also seeing DK not really do much. I think he did have a good game against the Vikings, So congrats. Again, I have no problem with DK and Geno. But I think we were killed for those decisions, the Seahawks. And now that the Seahawks are good, the national media is like, oh, hey, look at the Seahawks. They're good. Just ignoring all of the shit they gave us
Yeah,
this preseason and this
that's
offseason
fair.
for our decisions. And that's kind of what's been annoying is all the, like, we told you, like, the backdrop.
Oh, this team's just really good.
I'm like,
Like,
it was all there. It was literally there.
yeah,
There are a couple that I'm all right with. Some of the national media did have good points. A couple of them were talking about if we got Vikings Darnold or if we got Jets Darnold. I think it's clear it's Vikings.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the Vikings Darnold, truthfully. But we're getting that version, a confident, a good, somebody deserving of the number 3 overall pick type version. And then I think we've quieted all concerns about not having DK as a deep threat. With Horton, JSN's been incredible. I think that's that. This defense continues to be great. And that was the thing I never understood about some of the things in national media was how they just forgot that this defense was good.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily. Because you would hear a lot of them talking about how we would be like a 5-win team. And at the end of the day, if the defense is holding teams to under 17 points a game, you're going to win more than 5 games. It's just doesn't take a huge offense to do that. And that was kind of my annoyance. So now that the Seahawks have proven to be good, I feel a little vindicated and a little I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but really vindicated. I feel vindication. If you don't get the reference, it's I can't help you.
Yeah. I think it's valid. The criticism was heavy. But they've played well. They've been a great team. I think we are seeing the best version of Darnold. I think the questions revolving around the wide receiver room have been quieted. And defensively continues to be great. Yes. So, yeah, it's been good. I mean, again, I'm just excited for your first game against the Rams.
That's not till week 11, so you got some
God
time.
damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
no,
crazy.
It sucks.
That's like my first. I think that's like my first game against the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't get it, but whatever.
Alrighty. Well, if that does it for Seahawks football, we will get into our games of the week. I picked the Rams-Colts game. Rams did come away with the win, 27-20. Stop me if you've heard this story before. Colts wide receiver celebrates too early.
I was so upset. I was so annoyed.
I was
mad.
like, what the fuck?
So mad.
How? Why? What are we doing that this continues to be a problem? It's insane.
I don't get.
I know you know where the end zone is.
I don't.
What are you looking at?
And like, it's not even the classic he just drops it behind him type celebration. It's the fact that he went to extend it and then bobbled it through the back of the end zone was like comical.
Because then it's a turnover, right? So if anyone's confused, if you force the ball out the back of the end zone, it's a turnover. And so he's not just down where he dropped the ball.
And a touchback.
Yeah.
So they come out of the end zone to the 20-yard line.
Yeah. It was pretty stupid. Pretty...
Annoying.
I don't know what's going on in the Colts building, that this hasn't been addressed or dealt with because they were the only team to do it last year too. So I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I have questions, but I don't get it.
Sans that monumental fuck up, because that's what it was, right? The Colts are a real team,
Yeah.
and the first 3 weeks were not a fluke. They are a good team. They held Stafford to under 30 points, under 300 yards. He had a decent day. Really, the story for the Rams was Puka Nacua.
He's great.
Had a phenomenal game, and he is a great wide receiver. And I'm not sure that he quite gets the credit he should at this point. We talk about Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. I think Nacua belongs in that class, and that was very clear. But the Colts are a good team. They have a clear immaturity to them that has persisted, but they are a good team. Now, I am not convinced, and watching it, I was not convinced that Daniel Jones is an elite quarterback. I think he has an array of weapons, and he is a game manager. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that's a bad thing. But he is a game manager, and he's doing it really well, and I am happy for him. I don't know that he would have the ability to uplift a bad team, or a less dynamic team. But he's played really well, and this is a good team. And at this point, they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
So it was a great game. The Rams are always a fun team. Nakua's been great. You're seeing Devontae get a little bit more involved. But it was a really good game.
Man, I don't want the Rams. I hate the Rams.
The
Colts had one job. One job.
I know.
And this dumbass has to celebrate early. This dumbass has to celebrate early and then take a terrible holding call.
Yeah. It's
to negate two touchdowns.
The Colts lost the game. The Rams didn't necessarily win. It was there for the taking. But young players make immature decisions and
make stupid mistakes.
And that happened. So I think it's a good team. I do think they need to do something culturally about
that.
The maturity on that team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And that's where they always kind of sit. Kind of always where their dysfunction lies. Or at least since Andrew Luck. So, but they're a good team. And if they can get their head out of their ass, they'll be great.
Yeah, that was frustrating to watch. It really was.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was a good game, but yeah, I understood where you were coming from. Okay, I understand.
I
got it.
It just sucked. But whatever. For my game of the week, I chose the Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a really good game. Kind of. Eagles.
It was a weird game.
Eagles came out to a huge lead, like early. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then I think something we're learning about this Buccaneers team is they're never actually out of the game. Like the Eagles might have won 31-25, but the Eagles got out to a huge lead, and the Buccaneers kind of fought their way back. Got back into the game, which was awesome, but just not quite enough. On the Eagles side, they continue to just kind of find ways to win. I think when you look at their offense, Jalen Hurts had 130 yards passing, and he had 62 on the ground, which is pretty good. And then I don't think Saquon really did much this game.
No.
Yeah, he only had 43 yards on the ground. So not great there. So even with some of their best players not performing to their best, they're getting it done. I think there are some questions about this team. I'm curious to see what AJ Brown decides to say and not say. Cause it's kind of been a problem. And he's been very vocal in his career. There was the tweet he put out. I don't know what it said. I just know it said something kind of cryptic about certain things. About pretty much him not getting the ball. So that's always interesting. Kind of curious on what the Eagles do from there. But this Eagles offense is just boring to watch at this point. It's just not fun. And I'm kind of tired of it. On the Buccaneers side, I think a couple.
One pause.
Okay.
If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way.
Okay. That's what the tweet was. Or whatever.
Yeah. That was the tweet.
Okay. You see, that's a problem.
So, here's the thing. Right, yeah, totally. Agree with you. Might have to ask for a trade. Might have to say something.
You know. I don't.
Somebody's gonna have to say something.
I don't get it. I get it. You had 2 catches for 7 yards.
Yeah, I get it. You are a number 1 wide receiver in this league. You're a top 5 wide receiver in this league. And you are used like your shit. Honestly. That's how it feels. You have that right. I don't think I think you're justified in saying my legacy is not built on wins. And that's unfortunate, but it's true for a wide receiver. Wide receivers' legacies are built on yards and touchdowns and yards after catch or contact, yards after catch, all of those things. And if you're trying to build a legacy, that's Hall of Fame worthy, this ain't it. And I don't think you can do it on this team. And I don't think you can do it with this quarterback. I think he's completely justified. Now, what I will say is make sure you chase the right thing.
Chase the right team. You know who would be willing to trade for you right now? Not gonna name names. Not gonna.
No idea. I have a couple.
Teams
in mind.
You know who has something that the Eagles might want? Who knows? We'll see.
Maybe. There are some options.
There are options where you
play where I would not go
with a better quarterback. Because
I have 5 teams. It's more like 10.
There's a lot. But I would not touch.
I think he's justified.
I ranked Hurts way too high. Coming into the season, it's been. You can't do this and be a high-ranked quarterback. You just can't. You can't, winning isn't everything. Winning is everything, but
it is, but when you talk about
quarterbacks, This
The
is
genuine elite. Right. This is why Eli Manning was never that. He won really well, right? 2 Super Bowls against the GOAT.
just
That's not
pathetic.
the only thing that matters when we talk about quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't. It's pathetic. I can't. Like, I'm just looking at the stats. It's so bad. I
Well,
It
and
drives me crazy. Uh-huh.
they have a really, like, they are a one half team. They have a phenomenal half. And they have a terrible.
Yeah. Um.
It's just kind of a coin toss as to which half it's going to be.
Yeah. On the Buccaneers side, though, this is a fun team. It's a fun team. Um. You can never count them out. Baker has been playing great. That
Yeah,
interception
it
in the end zone was definitely not his best.
was rough. It was rough.
Um. But I think, man, this team, if they get healthy, they could be fun.
I think that was where some of their defensive struggles
It's
came from. Was that's where they're beat up, and I think you saw it.
and I like this offensive line is terrible, but
Yeah.
it's beat
Oh yeah.
up. They don't have Mike Evans, but it doesn't seem to matter because Emeka Ibuka is incredible. Um, Bucky Irving is great. They're just fun, and I think they
Yeah.
embody who Baker Mayfield is, and that's the best part.
They and I think that's we've talked a lot, especially this year, because of how well he's playing. I think the thing that's benefited him the most is,
This culture,
while I do think he needed to grow up a little bit, he needed to mature. They are leaning into who Baker is. And they're letting him be himself, and they're letting him lead this team the way he knows how. And you're getting the best version of him. And the team around him is really rallying to who he is. And it's been great to see.
yeah. So yeah, they're just a fun team. That's about as good as I can put it. I just hope they get healthy and they
Yeah.
actually are able to kind of do something with this team because I do think they have what it takes. Because they've just been fun to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they've been great. I think
but
they've
yeah,
been great.
otherwise, yeah, this Buccaneers team, injuries are the name of the game for them right now. I guess we'll see if it gets better.
Awesome. Um, well, then we will move on to kind of the rest of the NFL. What games stood out? What are you?
I only have one game I want to talk about.
Okay. I really only
Nice.
had. I had two. I have two.
Okay.
So I guess we'll see. Nope, I
The
still need this.
game I want to talk about is the Chargers Giants. Um,
Yes, 100%.
uh, obviously Jackson Dart's first career start. Um, at home against the Los Angeles Chargers. He gets the win, 21-18. I think really this was just an off day for the Chargers. It That's kind of what it
Yeah.
seemed like. I don't want to take anything away from Jackson Dart. I thought he looked better than Russell Wilson, and that is a very
Yes.
low bar, but you did at least
Yeah.
look better than him. So good enough. Had a touchdown. Didn't have any interceptions. Only had 111 yards passing, and that's kind of a problem. Um, Not great there, but also I thought overall it was a good first start for the. And then I think really what we saw is a confidence from this team that we
Yeah.
haven't seen under Wilson. Scatabo looks great. Um, he looks like a great rookie. It's really unfortunate what happened to Malik Neighbors because I think that might derail kind of the progress we were going to see out of Jackson Dart. So that's unfortunate. On the Chargers side, this just looked like an off game. Really, like it just kind of looked like you went in there expecting to win, and then everything kind of just hit the fan. Omarion Hampton, your rookie running back, looked great, but offensively, Herbert just couldn't seem to get much going for him. Threw 2 interceptions, did have a good touchdown, but it just seemed like he couldn't really get it going this game for the
So I
most part.
felt like this was the defense we expected to see from the Giants. We
Yeah,
expected to see with that kind of talent. We've been waiting for this. So
yeah,
what's important is, do you maintain it? Offensively, not a great game, right? Just statistically, it wasn't. But a rookie quarterback's first start, I don't think can be measured by the stats. He looked confident. He looked comfortable. He wasn't panicked. He knew what he was doing. Now, this team still has a lot of problems, right? They still have a rough O-line. His number one wide receiver went down. Those are real concerns, and they draw into question what this team can do moving forward. Do I think they found a franchise quarterback, though? Yes, I do. And I think that was evident in the way he commanded his offense, in the way he composed himself, and in the abilities he was able to show.
yeah. I think that should be the main takeaway, is that he looked
Yeah.
confident in this game. So, great to see that. Hopefully that can continue. And I think, unfortunately, with the injury to Malik Neighbors, this team is not going to do much of anything now. But
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't derail the confidence of Dart. Because I
That's
kind
fair.
of think that would be my one fear now without Neighbors.
Yeah.
Is
No, that's valid. That's valid.
from now on, it's not going to look great for that Giants team. So, hopefully, they do well, but it's not looking great if they don't have Malik Neighbors.
Fair. Valid. Very valid. Alrighty. The two games I want to talk about. The Steelers-Viking game. Only reason really I'm discussing it, it was the NFL's first game in Dublin. It was a great game, great atmosphere. Aaron Rodgers decided to turn back time. I don't know. I'm confused. It's the best offense the Steelers have had in years. I think the Vikings have a problem at quarterback and at O-line. And I think that was made pretty clear. I don't think Carson Wentz is your answer, and there are still questions about J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
So, no, that O-line is torn to shreds. I will give it that. There are a lot of injuries there, but it looked rough.
Yeah.
But really, for me, the story was Dublin, the crowd, the atmosphere. It was a great time. It was great to see. It's great to see this international games expand.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun. They were really excited. They knew when to cheer. They knew what was going on. And it was just fun. It's so fun to see the international games because there's not like sections of any one team because they don't have location-based loyalty. You get to see kind of all these jerseys and who these players know and what they recognize, and it's just a great time. And uh, it was worth it to get up early and watch it. And yeah, it was a fun game. It was a great game. I hope we get an Ireland game moving forward. So
Yeah, it was. I woke up for the second half of the game. Watched the second half.
sure.
It looked great. I thought Ireland kind of showed up.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was very similar to what we see from London in terms of
Yeah,
atmosphere. So that was
yeah.
great. I would imagine the NFL kind of continues this. Um, I'm not overly surprised that Dublin had good atmosphere. Um, Dublin almost annually has a college football game. So
I did not know that.
this is, yeah, it's like week one every year. They have a
That's
college
exciting.
football game. A lot of time Notre Dame plays there, so it's
You know what? That makes sense. That makes sense,
this
right?
year it wasn't
Like,
Notre Dame, oddly enough.
yeah.
But
Well, I'm like, yeah, that would make sense to me. That would, like, I get it.
but yeah, pretty much annually there's a game in Dublin for college football. So it doesn't necessarily surprise me that there's a decent supporting of NFL football there.
Valid.
So yeah, that was fun. Um, I thought it looked good. So that was pretty
Yeah,
much what I could take away from this. I didn't
that
really
was the
care about
takeaway
the
from the game.
actual game.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I wanted the Steelers to lose. They didn't. That's not. It's
Yeah.
just how my year is going. Um, and then the final game I wanted to talk about was Packers Cowboys.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
I have two thoughts on this.
I have
One, I'm slightly concerned that the Packers are not as good as I thought. I think we jumped the gun, maybe a little bit.
I think, yeah. I think we fell into that week one trap. I think.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys have been good offensively. They have real problems defensively, but I think the Cowboys have been significantly better than we expected, and especially in wake of CeeDee Lamb's offense. I think,
Yeah.
or presence, not offense, presence on the offense. Schottenheimer's done a much better job than game planning without him than I expected. So I think Schottenheimer gets a lot of credit for what this team has done. And yeah, I'm just a little concerned we fell into a week one trap. That is the Packers. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying there's not potential. They're still an extremely young team. They're still the youngest team in the NFL. But there's definitely some struggles.
Yeah.
My main note. If we're going to change the rules of overtime,
Make it so someone can win.
can we make it so they can't end in a fucking tie? Because while I watched the end of that game and then watched a movie, if you live on the East Coast, you're just praying for it to end. And then for it to still end in a tie after a pair of fucking field goals is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was rough.
If we're going to make it so that both teams get a chance at overtime, it should not be able to end in a tie. Do something.
The NFL
You don't
will
have to
never
go
do this.
another quarter. We could kick field goals. We could have a quarterback competition. I don't give a fuck.
I think the funniest one I saw for suggested ways to end it is starting offensive linemen field punts until someone
There
drops
you go.
one.
Like do something. Because for 10 minutes of that, for it to just go from 37 to 37 to end 40 to 40 was crazy.
The NFL won't do it, but I feel like they just kind of need to adopt college football overtime rules.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's simple, it's clean. Or like hell, you can keep the quarter of football and then just run 2-point conversions until someone wins.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Just do something.
I think that's the simplest way. Just do 2-point conversions until someone fails.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't think if we're going to change the rules, it should still be able to end in a tie. That was extremely disappointing. It was a great game. Disappointing end.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more on that one.
And yeah, I think the Cowboys are better than I was giving them credit for. They still have very clear defensive struggles. But I also think the Packers aren't as good as I was giving them credit for.
That I also think is true. I think the Packers.
So,
I think the young team of the Pack, like the youngness of the Packers, is going to be their undoing. Yeah. Immaturity and all that kind of stuff.
Immaturity. There were clear game management problems at the end of the game.
Ridiculous.
And I think that comes from a lack of knowing, because you're not often in those positions. The game was kind of theirs. It was there. They had time. They didn't manage it well, and they didn't have the sense of urgency that you need to have, and that comes from experience. That comes from veterans on the team, and that's not something they have a ton of. So that's going to have to be something that head coach Matt LaFleur really dials in, because if you're going to win games on last-minute game-winning drives, you have to have that urgency. And they don't currently have that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
So,
it just, that end of the game was so annoying to watch.
That's fair.
So bad.
Yeah. And again, it's a little different when you live on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, that game was done at 9 o'clock.
You think about Packers fans
in the Midwest, where the game was done at
East Coast
11
or midnight. It can't end like that. It can't. You've got to give fans a reason to stick it out. Yep. And that was not it.
Yeah. But I guess until they change something with overtime.
Yeah.
That's just going to be a
possibility. But it was a good game. It was a great game. It was a lot of fun. They're both great offensive teams.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, then we will look ahead to next week.
Yeah.
For both of our teams and our games of the week. So the Ravens play the Texans Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm going to put out a preview video, I promise. Think it's going to suck, though, just as a heads up. I'm scared. I shouldn't be, but I am. That's where we're at.
All right. And then for the Seahawks, they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. The game is 1:05 Pacific, 4:05 Eastern. Should be good. Should be a great game. Buccaneers are really good. I think this will just be a fun one. I think this is a test for the Seahawks. So I'm pretty intrigued on how it goes. Obviously, I'll talk more about that in my preview for the game. we'll get in more in depth on my concerns and why I think the Seahawks could win that game. So yeah, we'll get into all that on the preview.
Okay. Unfortunately, that appears to be the best game on the schedule this week. So, for my game of the week, I'm gonna do something crazy.
Okay.
I'm gonna watch Miami, Carolina.
Okay.
So here's the thing, right?
I'm just gonna.
That's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
And there's not a great game. And I'm trying to watch every team.
Okay.
And so I think if I can just watch this, right, this train wreck, then it gets both them out the way.
Fair.
So
All right.
it was that or Washington Chargers. But I've already watched the Chargers. I'm choosing a little bit of a different route. Because it was them or Giants Saints, and I'm just not ready yet.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I'm gonna go Miami, Carolina, just to kind of. I've seen them. Moving on. Neither of them are good teams, so it's either high scoring or it ends 3-6.
Fair enough. For my game of the week, I'm gonna go with, unfortunately, a team I have watched once for game of the week, and we just talked about them, but I want to watch the other team they play against. I'm gonna take Monday Night Football, Chiefs at Jacksonville. I don't really want to watch the Chiefs. It's not why I'm watching this one. I want to watch Jacksonville. I want to see what's going on there. Part of it is the Seahawks play Jacksonville the week after this one. The other part of it is Jacksonville is oddly good. Like, they're 3-1. I just don't know if they're a real 3-1.
That's fair.
So that's kind of what I want to look at. See how they do there. That's kind of where I'm at with my game of the week. It's just a not good week in terms of games. It's
not.
So.
It's not. And then this does begin bye weeks in the NFL. So on bye, we have the Falcons, the Bears, the Packers, and the Steelers. So.
Yeah. So we're in that part of the season already. So. Technically, not quite
happens fast.
Technically, we're not a quarter of the way in, but we're a quarter of the way in. Now that they've changed it to 17 games instead of 16, we're technically
18.
Well, it's 18 weeks, 17 games. So we've played quarter of the games, technically not, but yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely been interesting. That's for damn sure.
Great. Do you have any other sports news, sports topics?
No.
No.
I didn't watch any.
I do. As I was talking women's rugby and the World Cup, that did conclude this past weekend. The bronze medal game was between New Zealand and France. New Zealand kind of smacked France, which is what I predicted. I got yelled at because I picked New Zealand to beat Canada the week before. So, sorry. But New Zealand does come away with the bronze. The Canada-England game was interesting. England did get the win 33-13. Canada struggled offensively. They did a great job defensively. I know it doesn't seem that way, but the scoring is very different in rugby. If you don't watch it, It's just different. High scoring games are significantly more common. So to hold England as good as they are to only 33 is impressive. I think it's the lowest that England was held to the entire matchup or the entire World Cup. So they did a great job there. Canada just really struggled offensively. They had a great first run, and then after that, couldn't really get anything done, even when England was down a player for 10 minutes. So this is the best Canada has ever done in the World Cup for women's rugby. So congratulations to them coming away with silver. I know that they're disappointed. I know their fans are disappointed. But it was a good game. It was a great series, and it was really fun getting into it this year. This is kind of the first year I've actively paid attention, been invested, and followed women's rugby. And it was a great time to do it. So if you're thinking about getting into it, I highly recommend it. And yeah, it was a great World Cup. And congratulations to England with gold, Canada with silver, and New Zealand with bronze.
Nice. Nice.
So,
yeah. That's really all I got. Didn't watch any of it.
That's cool.
Can't
say. That's okay.
Rugby's a sport. I just don't know. Like I'm all right.
I
don't.
Two things. It's one I could not get into until I understood.
And that's probably part of it.
Because I tried before, right? I'd kind of sit there and watch it and be like, I just can't. I don't know what is happening. I don't know why we're doing half of that. I'm just confused. Now that I understand and I know what's happening, I am enjoying it. I definitely prefer women's rugby to men's.
Okay. Fair. I don't watch rugby, so
No, and that's valid. That's valid. So yeah, it was good. I don't know that I will become like an active fan, you know.
Okay.
We'll see. But for this time, for the World Cup, it was a lot of fun to watch. And nice. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's good. Since there's probably nothing else random sports related, I think that does it for us this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you're a Ravens fan. Let us know how you feel currently. If you're a fan of another team, let us know how your team's doing. Let us know how you feel about this current season. Are you going all the way, or is it time to tank? It's kind of
try to get the number one pick.
That's kind of where we're at. I think we're gonna start seeing teams start tanking. So that'll be fun. All that being said, this has been Flocknet Sports Podcast. Thank y'all for joining. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
And bye.